Howdy friends, and welcome to The Average J. Today I'm pretty excited. This is actually going to be the first time I've ever done an unboxing and review of a product. So today I'm going to unbox and demonstrate the Cuisinart Elite Collection 12 Cup Food Processor. This is model CFP24DDCNPC. So I think we should just get right into it. I will say I picked this up at Costco. The retail price is $199.99, but it was on sale for $159.99, so $40 off. That was a pretty good deal. So why don't we go ahead and we'll just get right into it and see what we have in this box. Now, one thing I want to say is I have started to cook a lot more in the last year. I truly have. I've cooked a lot more. And I really needed, or not, maybe not needed so much as wanted, a food processor for some of the things that I make. And I used to have a all-in-one machine that was like a blender, had like a bullet juicer top, food processor. It was a Ninja, and I never had a whole lot of luck with that thing. Some of the electronics in it were a little funky, it kind of messed up at times, and now it's just completely dead. So Michelle and I had discussed it. I've actually been talking about wanting a food processor for the better part of a year. I want to say it's been almost a year since I first emphasized. So this wasn't something that was an impulse purchase or anything. This was something that I've wanted for a long time. So I wanted something that could slice in case I wanted to slice any kind of vegetables to have, you know, like thin parts. But I also wanted something that could chop. I make bread. I've made bread products recently. And as part of this, I'm actually going to make biscuits. But I wanted to see how it worked as opposed to taking my hand, you know, pastry knife or whatever you want to call it. I'll put a picture right here of what it is. But I just wanted to make sure that I had something that can assist me with, you know, when I make any kind of pastries, pie crust, bread, and also I'm a big baby when it comes to cutting up onions. Oh, I don't like when it brings tears to my eyes. So I was hopefully trying to find something that can chop them without making it into liquid. So let's open up the box and see what we have. We have our instruction book, and of course, all the 50 inserts that come with it that say, oh, attention, be careful, oh, here's your warranty, please do the registration, here's your quick reference guide in case you need the quick reference guide. But it's a pretty thick book for a small appliance. It's 87 pages. 87 pages of instructions. So that is going to go right there. Let's take the styrofoam that can go to the side. There's an awful lot in there. One of the things I liked about this unit when I saw it on the shelf was that it had multiple cutting units. It had 3 different spinning blades. It has a dough blade, a mixing blade, and a chopping blade. So it has that, and it has 2 different slice and shredding discs. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we're going to try to get this thing out without destroying anything. And here's one blade. Here is 2 blades. And I have a couple of the other ones out. We're going to get all the pieces out. Once all the pieces out, we're going to try to make heads or tails of all of it. Because I'll be honest, I don't know what's supposed to go with what. Well, I gotta say, the dough blade is the only one that doesn't have a blade cover on it. So let's go to all the pieces out, and then we're going to go over what each piece is. Alright, there's also an awful lot of styrofoam in the box. Now, this unit, one of the reasons that I enjoyed getting this unit is that it is 1,000 watts. So when I went through the store, there were a lot of units that were 500 watts and 700 watts. This thing at 1,000 watts, I knew was going to be able to do everything I need. And one of the things I need to be able to do is take whole kernel dried corn and grind it to edible parts for my chickens. So this is also going to be a chicken thing. I'm going to do that in the demonstration, and we'll see how well that grinds up the corn to become suitable for the chickens. So we're going to take all of these box pieces and put them back, and now the box is empty. So I have all the parts. I'm going to set them up and take a picture of it. We are going to go over each individual piece. So number one is the housing, base, and the motor. And like I said, this thing is very, very heavy. And again, it is Cuisinart. So that's your base unit and motor. And number two is the touchpad control panel. It's on, off, and pulse. One thing I wasn't really crazy about is there's not a low speed, high speed in a pulse. But because it has pulse, I think I can do without the low speed. Number three item on their packing list is the work bowls. One of the things that I like most about this thing is it has a 12 cup, it's a 12 cup food processor, but it also has an inserting, get this off, secondary bowl that you can use. I want to say that this is 3 cups. So this is a 3 cup additional that you can put inside of your 12 cup if you're only doing something small. I think that's kind of neat if you're working on a smaller project to be able to do a smaller amount. Then you also have the feed tube with I don't know what the fancy name is for it, but the depression device that pushes it down, a scraper to scrape down the bowl, and the lid, of course. And then pusher assembly, excuse me, that is called the pusher assembly. And so then you have a small chopping blade, a large chopping blade, a dough blade, okay? And then you have a reversible chopping disc that you can change different ways depending on how you want to have that cut. And then you have a slicing disc. So this would be for like if you want to slice cucumbers. Well, one thing I'm not crazy about is the cord is very short. It's probably 3 feet long. Not that you really need that. If you're doing it on the counter, it's probably going to be good. Probably the only time I would need a cord longer than this is this demonstration. So I guess I shouldn't be really upset by it. The other thing, this is something I thought was different, but I really like, is instead of like being put on and twisting, this lid actually just sits on it. Press it down on the front, press it down on the back, and then it has buttons to push and release. I thought that was kind of neat that it's different. It's not just like a turn and twist. And of course you have the chute, and you can put things in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this lid off, and I am going to set up the first shredder, and we're going to go ahead and shred an item. The unit is set up. What I did was I took the small cup out of it. I just want to use the big cup for now. And I put the, let me show you. I put the extension driver on, and I put the big bowl on, and I took the slice or the chopper blade, and I have set that on the machine. At least I had it set on the machine. Oh, it's like putting a puzzle together. Holy moly. I don't know why I'm having such a tough time with this. Maybe oh no, I don't have it upside down. Oh, there we go. You know what? It only goes in a certain way. There's only one of 3 ways it can go. I thought all the connections on it were even, but it's not. So I'm going to close that, set it down, and let's see. Yeah, it works. That's pulse. You know how quiet it is? That is very quiet, especially for 1,000 watts. So let's go ahead and we're going to turn this thing on, just on, and let's see what we get. We'll turn that off. All right, let's see what we got in here. Now, you see, because of my own stupidity, I still have a piece of the carrot left, but let's see what the carrot looks like. I gotta say, this came out remarkable. All right, so look at those carrots, how that came out. Really nice and chopped, really nice. I like that. That's pretty good. All right, so that takes care of that chopping. Let's flip it over and see what the other chop looks like. Okay, we changed the blade over to number 2. Let's take a look. All right, we're gonna turn that thing on. Well, that one went through much better because I had practice on it. Let's turn it off. That is a quiet machine. All right, let's take the lid off and see what we got. That's all that's left is the butt end of it. Oh, now see, this is nice. This one makes a little thicker cut, if you see. It's a little thicker cut compared to the smaller shred. That is really nice. Now that we've shown how things can grate, let's see how things slice. We're going to try it with a cucumber. I have the slicing blade in there now, so let's see how the slicing blade does. Alright, boy, that thing is quick. Alright, we're going to take that off. We're going to take the blade out. And let's see how we did. Well, not too bad, not too shabby. It cuts it pretty thin because it cuts them pretty quick. So if you can see that. This would be good in a salad, I gotta say. It cut them pretty thin. Michelle, what do you think?
They're very thin, yes.
Yeah, Michelle over on the side. So we'll put that in a salad. Next we're going to try my nemesis, the onion. Now that we've tried both of the grindings, we're going to try the actual chopping blade. See how it does against my nemesis, the onion. So I had the blade in there. And we'll put this in. Well, you know what? Let's just put it in. We'll put it in 4 different sections down here. All right, let's try pulse. We'll try the pulse. I just can't get over how quiet this thing is. Alright, so I did about 10 pulses. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera or not. I hope my camera is good enough to show you. Those onions are perfectly diced. Wow, I am shocked. I thought they were going to turn into liquid, and they did not at all. 2 other things I really want to point out is, 1, ease of cleaning. I've cleaned this thing after each thing that I've done, and it's just so easy. Nice thing about plastic, you know. But the second thing is, when I was putting the cucumber in, you may have noticed I cut it in half. And And that was so it would fit in the normal chute with the food presser. But it does separate from the regular lid. So there is a good enough space to put larger items in. I just put this in because it was significantly easier for me. But yeah, you can take that out and put a larger item in. The other thing I want to point out is in the lid, if you look real close, there's a rubber seal. So that thing is not going to leak if you're doing liquids. So I'm pretty happy about that. So we have two more things that I want to try. Number one is going to be the grains, and the number two is making dough. So let's go ahead to the grains. Okay, here is the grains. It's actually deer corn from my neighbor, but when I cut it down, I can use it for the birds. So I'm just going to toss it in there with the large blade. All right, we're going to throw that lid on. And in theory, when I do this, it should wind up at a good size for my birds. Let's try it out. Wow, it's doing a great job on the bottom, but I need to get in there and just stir it a little bit because some is left on the top. So let's see what we got. It actually smells hot. So the grain got, I'm going to call that a fail. So on the grain, it didn't really take a lot of those and cut them up. So I'm thinking that's not going to be a plan. It doesn't really seem like it seemed like it cut corn, but this is really, really dried hard corn. So very difficult to say. But I could smell the corn sort of like burning almost. I think it was too much power, 1,000 watts. It was just spinning that stuff so fast, the corn actually got hot. To test out the pastry cutter, I went ahead and put it in. It's just like the metal blade, but it's made out of plastic. I just set that in there. And I'm going to make a thing of biscuits. So I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 5 teaspoons, I gotta look at my recipe, 5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and half a teaspoon of baking soda that I have sifted together. I am just going to go ahead and put this right in there. Alright, it's all in there. Well, most of it's in there. I think a lot of it's on my sweatshirt. I probably shouldn't have worn a black sweatshirt. That was a dumb idea. Now I have half a cup of butter cubed, which a half a cup is 1 stick of butter. So I'm just going to throw those in, and I'm going to throw my lid on, and I'm just going to pulse this until, I don't know, till it's like kind of mixed but not mixed. Let's see what it says. It says until it's crumbly and resembles peas. Okay, I think we have it. So now it says mix in 1 cup of cold buttermilk and let it go until it's just kind of basically moistened. You can add an additional half or quarter cup of buttermilk if you need it. Let's see how we do on that one. I wish I had nice homemade buttermilk like Joan at Joan's Pointed Plate has. She makes that when she makes her own butter, but I don't have that, so I have store-bought. I have a 1.25 cups in this, and we're going to go ahead and just add a cup, and then we'll see if we need to add any more after that. All right, I think the dough looks pretty good. I'm gonna take it and roll it out and put it in the oven. So here's everything that we did. We did the smaller shred. We did the larger shred of the carrots. We did the slicing of the cucumbers on the slicing disc. We did dicing of the onions with the chopper. All of those were a success. The grain, now bear in mind, this is hard deer corn. This is not like fresh off the cob corn, but it would not cut it down any smaller. So that I would say is a fail. And of course we made our dough for our biscuits. I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the oven. Ooh, sorry, I let go of the neck strap on my camera. So these will go in a 450-degree oven for 15 minutes. So that's going to do it for the review on the Cuisinart food processor. I have to say, I am incredibly impressed with this machine. Out of everything that I did, the only place where I was disappointed, I can't even say disappointed, was the hard grains. Like I said, this was like hard deer corn, so I truly was not expecting it to be, a success, but for right now, I think everything that I wanted it to do worked. You know, one of my number one things was the cutting of the onion, and it did it perfectly. I was so afraid it was going to chop it to mush, because I've had smaller units that when you put them in, that's what it does. It doesn't chop them, it just like mushes them down. So this actually worked really well for that. I love the slicing of the cucumber, the shredding of the carrot. Everything worked great, and I have to say, I've never made bread that easy, in a bread maker or otherwise, that, you know, went that easy. So I'm actually excited to try pizza crust, make a homemade like peach pie. I love peach pie. But I'm gonna say, if I was to give it on power, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, I'll give it a 5 on power. On the decibel level, I'm going to give it a 5 on the sound. You hardly even heard that thing. For attachments, I'm going to give it a 5 because it had 2 different discs, a slicing disc and a grating disc that had 2 different sizes, plus it had 2 different chopping blades and 1 dough blade, and the dough blade worked fantastic. I was really impressed. I was afraid that all I was going to do was just push everything along, and it didn't. It mixed everything well. So the next grade I'm going to give is on ease of use. So I like that it's a pulse button and an on button. There's not different speeds. You know what? I wouldn't know whether to put on low and high anyway. I'm an amateur. The only thing I would say for ease of use, there's 2 things. I'm going to put it at a 4 instead of a 5. The lid is a press-on lid, and you have to have it lined up just right to be able to push in the front and the back, as opposed to just kind of put it on and twist it. So a little confusing, but I mean, I figured it out, but it's still, you have to kind of give it that extra second to look over and make sure it's lined up right. And the second thing is, when you're putting the slicing and the grating discs on, it looks from the top like there's 3 notches, 3 grooves. But the problem is you can't put any notch in any groove. They go in a very specific way. So you have to make sure that the right notches go to the right grooves. And that took me a second to figure out. But other than that, I'd say design-wise, it's really good. From a durability standpoint, I'm going to give it a 4. The container itself, it's a plastic. It's a good thick plastic, but there were times when I was doing that grain that I was like, is this going to make it or not? So I wasn't really sure, but for just normal average use, I would say that really worked out really good. The base unit is very heavy, very sturdy. I would expect that from a 1,000-watt machine. So in general, I think it worked out pretty good. So that is the unboxing. That is the testing and... Oh, hi Artie. My dog just walked in. So that was a really fun time. I really enjoyed testing that. Like I said, I've wanted a food processor for a while. And I went to multiple stores. I'm going to say I didn't buy the first unit I saw. I looked very much online. And I looked online and I looked in several stores, and so this worked out really well. So again, it's the Cuisinart 12 cup food processor. I'm looking down because I got the box right down here. But Cuisinart Elite, again, I got mine at Costco. It was on sale, 40 bucks off for $159.99. If you're in the market for one or have looked at this, all I can say is, you know, you get what you pay for. You know, can you get a unit for 79 bucks? Yeah, you might, but I'm just saying this unit, as quiet as it was, as powerful as it was, I know that this unit is going to last me and all the needs that I have for a lot of years to come. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Yeah, please hit the like button. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.